All right, next on the podcast, we're excited to have the brand new Corunna Cavalier head football coach, Jason Beldyga, joining us. And, you've been a long-time member of the football program, but initial thoughts, how's it feel to be the man in charge?
It's exciting, a little scary. I used to think as a defense coordinator, a couple nights before a game, you would like sit up in bed and be worried about what teams are going to do to you offensively. And I'm finding as a head coach that the amount of sleep I'm getting is is even less. That we worry about every little detail, not just the defense. But it is exciting. It's been really kind of a being around the program for so long, and now getting to be in charge of the program has been really kind of sound cheesy, but a dream come true for me.
Well, that's what you hear about when a lot of guys take over a program, whether it's college or whatever, professional, even high school. As they go from coordinator to head coach. It's almost like you turn into the CEO, right? Like you're talking about, you used to just worry about the defense, but now you have to worry about everything, even media interviews.
Yeah,
coming on the 3 Point Podcast.
And stuff does not roll downhill; it rolls uphill. I can tell you that.
Right. No, I'm sure. Yeah, like you said, dream come true, and it's super cool. You deserve it. So we're all excited for you, and very curious to see where you take the Cavaliers. I wanted to ask you. So you hear about when new head coaches come in, taking over for a coach who had a ton of success. Maybe something like Sharon Moore taking over for Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, or, obviously there's a bunch of other examples where a coach comes in, he was in the program, takes over for a coach who had a ton of success. You want to keep things rolling. You want to keep things going from that previous head coach. The program's been established, but it's your program now. You are the head coach. So what have you, the month or so that you've been head coach, what have you learned already, and what are you trying to do to keep what Coach Herrick built with Corunna, but establish your program?
No, that's a really good point. So one of the things I've been very fortunate is I was a coordinator, either offense or defensive varsity coordinator under 4 different head coaches at Corunna: Kyle Robinson, Mike Sullivan, Chris Curtis, and Steve Herrick. And I've learned a little bit from each coach. And like you said, obviously we've got a great foundation here at Corunna. You guys are all part of that foundation. So that goes back to that part about, the lack of sleep is you want to uphold the history of the program, but at the same point, you also want to put your own stamp on it. In terms of like what that stamp looks like, it's just kind of doing it your own way. But, when I say doing it, it's the little things. I'm up at school tonight working on, Wednesday pregame practices and what do pregame practices look like, and what have we done in the past I like, what have we done in the past that, maybe I wasn't a big fan of. But obviously when you're a coordinator and assistant coach, you support the head coach. So I'm finding those things as I go along for sure.
You mentioned this week. This whole podcast, we hear about all different teams from all across the state. I'm jealous of you guys getting ready for week 1. 0 in the win column, 0 in the loss column. Just so much like hope and excitement for what the season will bring. How much fun are you having right now, Flato? I know you're not sleeping much, but it's got to be pretty magical to be entering.
I'm having a blast. I really am. Going back to, I enjoyed my time in administration. I was the athletic director for 3 years, and then I was an assistant principal over at our elementary building. And I loved my time. I love the people I worked with, but there's something special about working with high school kids and kids that want to compete and get better every day. So as much as I am the guy that's saying that I'm losing sleep, it's right now is a really fun time, especially this time of the year that, you don't know anything about really anybody. You don't really know anything about yourself, to be honest with you. You think you do at times, and then other times it surprises you. So there's that anxiety of what are we? Who can we be? And it's a lot of fun right now, for sure.
Philosophical type of question here, Coach.
Yep.
Football's a game where you got to have discipline, right? So how do you balance discipline and letting the kids have fun?
Yeah, that's I don't know who the coach was that did the study, and I'm sure there's been dozens have done this study that you look at like penalties for, teams that are highly penalized are also, there's that side that, I'm highly we're a highly penalized team, but we're also physical, and
Right.
it's that match. So, we try when a kid, we apply everything to our team. So for instance, if we've got a rule in our program about bad language, we'll just put it that way. And when a bad word flies, we all, coaches included, hit the deck, and we're doing push-ups because it affects us all in a game. Right. That's a 15-yard penalty. So I really, I probably need the kids to pick it up a little bit more, so get me down on the ground doing some more push-ups. But it also has been, I think the kids enjoy seeing us as coaches that we're willing to do things right along with them. But yeah.
Interesting.
I'll jump in. I got two. I got. Sorry, wasn't sure if Matt was going to jump in or not, but I got two questions for you. One kind of fun one, and then one somewhat serious one. We'll start with the fun one. So I know you watch the show Hard Knocks. Do you ever think as a head coach, like, man, what would it be like having a film crew just follow me around through training camp through a season? What do you think that would look like?
I tell you what, you guys know Sam Schuster. He's our JV defense coordinator. He's been around I told him the other day, I said, if you put me in one more of our Twitter pictures, I'm going to fire you. And I don't even know if I can fire him, but I'm going to fire. I don't like seeing my picture. I will never be in the front row of a picture. I can tell you that. I like to be kind of the guy that's not. I don't know. I guess it's my personality.
Right.
But you're cool having video on this interview, right? So you're okay with that?
I'm just not looking at myself at the other monitor, so I'm good. As long as I stare at that camera, I'm good.
And then I mentioned when you were initially hired earlier this year, what a great speech you had back when you were defensive coordinator for my team. I still remember it. Still, our team still talks about how great of a speech it was. What's going to be your message, in the locker room? I wish I was sitting in the locker room hearing it. What's going to be your message to the team week one, facing a pretty good opponent in Fowler that I think is a good measuring stick? What's going to be your message to that team in that locker room, or is that top secret?
That one's going to be pretty simple, and it's just do your job. And you don't have to do anyone else's job. It's okay to be nervous. I'm going to have butterflies being my first. I've been on the sideline for hundreds of games, or in the box for hundreds of games, but that's okay. Nerves are okay. Those things are okay. So don't try to pretend like they're not there, and embrace that, because that's the part of football that's, any high school sport that's fun, is competing with your teammates, but just doing our job. I gave them a talk the other day about, and I may have done this with you, J-Rod, with the Clydesdales and the difference of the Clydesdales. The one Clydesdale by itself can pull like 6,000 pounds, and together, the first week you get them together, they can pull, I don't know, like 24,000. And then eventually when they start working together, it's like 30,000 pounds. So we talked about that I try to bring those stories in about, in that case, that competition is a good thing. But then once you learn to compete against each other, and then once you eventually get to the point that you're working with one another, you're able to accomplish some great things.
Before we move on, just talk a little bit about what we can expect from this year's Cavaliers, maybe some of the players that you're going to be looking to really lead the way.
Yeah, we've got a great group. On offense, we have some weapons. Isaac Jacobs is a burner. Our team speed is really our strength, I believe. We've got Isaac Jacobs that can do some damage. Oda Wilkerson and Ruger Zeman are kind of that 1-2 punch in the backfield of, a real shifty runner, and then Ruger's a downhill, smack you in the mouth type kid. Logan Herrick, as a slot, is unbelievably fast and talented. We feel really good about our tight end play. We've got a young guy, Noah Rose, that's really, he's a big body and can catch the ball. And Everett Martin is in the same boat as him. And at quarterback, Colton Stratton has really come on. From when I took over in February to now, that young man has done everything that we've asked. He's carried himself the right way, and his teammates are following him because of that. And then defensively, again, Ruger is solid in the middle for us. Blake Caesar's a linebacker for us, junior, that we feel really good about. Carter Milton's a senior in the back as a safety that's done a great job of developing over the last year. And then up front, I'm not going to forget about the big boys on the offensive line. Jaden Barker is a senior that's just he's really come into. He's one of those kids like you watch him and you're like, man, this kid is loving football right now.
Right.
That's awesome.
He's fun to watch. Devin Slocum, Kais Malone, all those Brock Rivette, Charlie Murphy. We feel good. We're young up front on both sides of the ball, but we feel really good about those guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Looks like the roster and the depth chart is starting to round out. Those butterflies you talk about, I've heard people say, and I mean, we all played, so we understand that feeling. If you don't have those butterflies, then something's wrong, right? Like that. Yeah. That's what I always think. Like, you want to have those butterflies, you want to have those juices going, especially before your first game. I wanted to ask about, so you obviously you've already touched on that. You're a Corunna guy through and through. You grew up through the program, born and raised in the system and everything, and now you're the head coach of the varsity football team. It's got to be a pretty cool journey to think about. But can you talk about the value, especially at a place like Corunna, a community like Corunna, to have a head coach who's been there, who knows the mid-90s teams, who you mentioned Chris Curtis, you know Steve Herrick, and I think that's why Coach Herrick had a ton of success also. He knows the Corunna community. Can you talk about maybe why, I don't know, you can go ahead and pat yourself on the back, why you think you're the right guy for the job, because you understand the Corunna community?
It's, Matt, I think it's hard to put into words. This is probably, I remember when we got back from Ford Field that night, and obviously that was not the way we wanted that game to end. But I remember coming back into the gym, and we had school the next day, and that gym was packed, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and just packed with people in our community, and the impact those kids had. And those things like that, I mean, that was obviously on a larger scale because it was down, the magnitude of that game. But right. You see those connections with our community so often. And I don't know, I mean, I like to think that I'm still relatively young, but maybe it's becoming a dad and you see those moments that kids have and the opportunities they have with the community that are really special. And I told somebody the other day that like, this is not a destination, or this is a destination job for me. It's not I don't have aspirations of going anywhere else. This is where I want to be. This is where my kids are. And this, like I said, it sounds cheesy, but it truly is my dream job.
I got one last quick question. And because you mentioned Ford Field, I'm so jealous. How was that? I mean, just the walking in, checking out the field, going up to the coach's box in the press box, looking out at the Detroit Lions logo. I mean, was that kind of everything you dreamed of? And it probably makes you, maybe this year, maybe somewhere down the road, let's get back there, as a Corunna Cavalier football program. Is that how it felt, kind of?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was like, okay, well, our program has arrived. Obviously, we'd had unbelievable success through the years, consistent success. But that was kind of that moment of, little Corunna can be on the map. Right. And then the next thing here over the last couple of years is, okay, what can we do to get back there, but have that consistent success that you are, playing to get back there every year, that you have that, the ability to get back there, because it was not easy. Yeah. But yeah, and as far as the facilities, it was unbelievable. I mean, the only thing I will say is we were up in the box, and I was up there with Coach Heine, Buck Heine, and it was nice because you could see the whole field. Everything was laid out there for you, but I couldn't see anything, and I know he couldn't see anything.
Right. No, it's true.
So we were sharing binoculars up there, and my only regret is I wish that we would have came down on the field at some point during the game, because you couldn't see pad level. You couldn't. It was right. Again, you could see the whole picture, but really you couldn't see the details in that picture.
Right.
Well, it was a heck of a run for sure, and it had to be a big time experience. I mean, like you said, came up a little short, but man, a few breaks here and there might have been a little bit of a different outcome. But I'm going to end my final question for you. Any upcoming weddings you're going to officiate?
You did a great job.
That was fun. That was. I don't know if I'll be more nervous on Thursday night for the first game or how nervous I was that day, because, you only get married a couple times in your life, so no, it was fun. Love Casey and Katie, and obviously the whole Fattel family, extended family. that was a cool experience.
Well, you did a great job with it, man.
Thank you.
It was fun.
I've got to ask you one quick thing. So Corunna's, and then we'll get you out of here. You got to keep prepping for your upcoming game. Corunna's uniforms and helmets. Amongst some group chats that I have with Corunna Cavaliers, guys who grew up through Corunna, born and raised, played with the Golden Dome, Nick and Eastfield. It's classic. I remember my senior year, we put the C with the swords, and that was a hot topic around town. You do not put anything on that helmet. Obviously, that's a long time ago. Things have changed. But what are your personal feelings on the uniform? Are you like Ted? Couldn't care less. Just go out there and play whenever Jared and I talk about uniforms with the All-Star game or whatever it is. Ted's always just like, I couldn't care less about the uniforms. Do you want to have 6 different alternates? Do you want to have all that? Or should it be gold pants, black jersey, golden dome? That's the classic look, right?
I'm so if you saw how I dress most days, you'd go, this guy's, we don't want to take fashion advice from him. So I'm more of a classic look, but I also know that it's important to kids now more than it ever has been that, they got to have their, unfortunately, as sad as it is, there's some kids I think wouldn't play football or some other sports if they didn't look good on the field or on the court or whatever. So we will be relatively. I will tell you one thing that we did do this year. We the way we did our ordering for jerseys, our JVs and our varsities are going to be in the same jersey the whole year. So we have some that are duplicate numbers, but they're going to be in the same jersey. So if down the road we do have a conversation about playoffs or anything like that, we could bring the entire JV team up if we really wanted to do that. As far as helmets, we are going to have a C and swords on the side of our helmet. We are going to, it's not a nod to Alabama, but I will tell you, we are going to have numbers on the side of our helmet. And we are going to have a little nod to the 1955 team, and we're going to have a stripe down our helmet this year. So that'll be a little, and we're going all gold dome, black. Everything will be black. But one thing that's kind of interesting, there's several companies out there that do this now, but you can get a shell that covers your entire helmet. And to outfit your team, you're probably talking $3,000, but it's basically the shell just covers up your helmet so you can change the color of your helmet. You wouldn't need to get a full new helmet. But it's one of those, you do it, 2 to 3 times a year. Is it really worth, $2,000, $3,000? Money could probably be spent better elsewhere. But you can. There's definitely me personally. I mean, I'm an Alabama guy. I love the fact they wear the same jersey. Awesome. I like that they don't have all jerseys. But
are you gonna have a number 0 in this jersey batch you ordered? I love the number 0 in football. It just became a thing a few years ago. Or is there?
We have a 0.
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Is it Oda?
No, Christian Morris. He's a senior.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, you talk about the stripe on the helmet. That's what I had back when I played. So, little throwback.
Are you still in the record books for interceptions?
I believe I am. Yes, I believe so. I was tracking Wyatt pretty closely, as you know.
He told us when we talked to him before the season, I think it was before their senior year, that he was going to break it.
Yes, he did.
Broke about every other record possible they did. But
he came damn close, I'll tell you that much. Well, listen, we'll let you out of here on this final question. Short little synopsis on what to expect Thursday night at Fowlerville. What are you looking at with the Gladiators?
Obviously you have to respect every opponent. They're a well-coached team. They've got some boys up front that can flat get after it. So I think you're going to see a battle up front between two teams. In the past, they've really pinned their ears back and got after the quarterback. So we expect that. We expect to play under pressure on the offensive side of the ball. And we will really look to get the ball into our playmakers' hands, and then also control the line of scrimmage as much as we can. And defensively, we want to get pin our ears back on ourselves on defense. We've made some changes defensively this year that we hope that can shore up some weaknesses we had in the past, but we feel pretty good. So I just told the kids we met tonight. I had some chicken spaghetti in my classroom and watched some film with them, and I told them, I said, the biggest growth always has to happen from scrimmage to week 1, and then from week 1 to week 2, and so on and so forth. So looking forward to a great week of practice for sure.
Well, we appreciate the time, Coach. You know, you got our numbers, so if you need any play calls or anything, just reach out to us. All right.
Hey, and if any of you guys are, well, I guess it would just be Jared. J-Rod, you decide to tie the knot here, just give me a call, okay?
Oh, yeah.
The online, AmericanOnlineMinistries.com. I'm your guy.
Honestly, I'd like to give on that. You did a great job. So, no, that's awesome. But, yeah, good luck this year, Coach. Thanks for hopping on. We're going to be watching.
Jason.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for everything.